Could Tom Holland be quitting Spider-Man? Could No Way Home be the last in the franchise? If so, does this mean we have a new Bond? Welcome to Sidetrack, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. Right, so in the last couple of days, Tom Holland's also been doing loads of interviews because No Way Home is about to hit the cinemas. And he has been quoted as saying that maybe this will be his last outing, that maybe it's time for him to move on, and that if he is still playing Spider-Man when he turns 30, then there's been a massive mistake in his career. He also then mentions Miles Morales, and maybe that could be, even though he doesn't directly say this, maybe that could be where the Spider-Man franchise goes in the future. Well, we do know whether Miles Morales sent Into the Spider-Verse animated movie, and that had massive success, that the MCU might be tempted to go in that direction. And if they are, I think that's probably a really good idea. But how likely is this? Unless there is actually a massive shock at the end of No Way Home and Peter Parker dies or is lost in the multiverse somehow or something else, then I can't see this being his last outing. It might be the last standalone movie that Tom Holland will star in as Spider-Man, but they're going to have to do something with the MCU to hand over that mantle. They're going to have to do something that explains where a new Spider-Man is going to come from, or his Miles Morales character is going to emerge as the new Spider-Man. That could be within another movie, potentially. But I'm really hoping, with all the twists and turns we're already expecting from No Way Home, that isn't where this ends up. But it might. Tom Holland has been quoted as saying before that when they were making this movie, they treated it from the outset as the last part of the franchise. The director, John Watts, has called the Spider-Man movie No Way Home Spider-Man Endgame in more than one interview. Now, that is not a subtle hint at where they think this movie is going, that it is going to be the end of a major character, the end of a major franchise. But does this make any sense for Tom Holland in his career? He has started to make really big movies outside of the Spider-Man character. He's becoming a genuine A-list star in Hollywood. Yes, of course, he's going to move on from Spider-Man at some point, but it does feel a bit soon for me. I do feel like there are a couple of more movies that he could make, and definitely a couple more appearances in other MCU movies. So I'm hoping this isn't the end. But the timing is suspicious. He has more than once talked about with friends and in interviews that he would love to play the Bond character. Now, spoiler alert coming up here. The last Bond movie with Daniel Craig, we do see Bond die. Bond gives his life to protect his child and the woman he loves. That whole franchise has been massively successful, and we just point out here as well that it's MGM's biggest and most profitable franchise. So with Amazon coming in and with their economic might, the franchise is going to be back and it's going to be rebooted somehow. So I've got a theory. How about it's rebooted with a much younger Bond? A lot of the other actors that have been rumoured to become Bond, like Idris Elba, are well in their 30s, 40s, even older. I don't see them doing that because it wouldn't be a reboot as much. It'd just be sort of like redoing the Daniel Craig version of the Bond, where Bond is getting a little older towards the end of his career. You know, his knees are bust, his back's bust. There's a new 007 that takes over his role. You know, it's really his retirement and then obviously death. What if we see a Bond much younger? What if we see a Bond maybe still in the Navy? We can actually get to see how he becomes a 007 in the first place. Now that would be wicked, and an actor that would be perfect for that is Tom Holland. He's British, he's young enough, he's definitely already got a fan base that would really love him in this role. It would be a no-brainer for MGM, really, for me to do this. And it would be something a little bit different without having to mess around with the character too much. You know, maybe he isn't a womanizer at the beginning. Maybe, you know, he is young and naive and stuff. But this could be a franchise, actually, that we see for the next 20 years. This could be 6, 7 movies, easily. And we could see Bond become the character that we love. I love this. The Bond character, for me, I have a little bit of a psychology background. The Bond character for me is emotionally stunted. There is something broken in his brain. We got to see that with Daniel Craig, really, that he fell in love and that love was taken away from him, and that, made him sort of the person he is. He is self-destructive. He takes insane risks and so on and so on. It'd be great to see, actually, in a little franchise, with Tom Holland from young, that he is maybe not that character, but we find out why he becomes it. So I have actually a source at MGM that talks to me about Stargate and stuff, and has given me a few little tidbits about Amazon's plans for Stargate. Now, I messaged them this morning and just sort of said, is Tom Holland going to be the next James Bond? They messaged back a smiley face. Now, I'm not going to push it because I've already pushed it a lot with them to give me more information about Stargate. So I'm not going to push that. But I would say that's a definite maybe. I don't think anything's decided here, and it is pure speculation in lots of ways. But I do suspect that this conversation is being had with MGM. And this is maybe what's pushing Tom Holland and maybe him making big decisions about this future career because the timing's right. He's done Spider-Man. He's done 3 great movies. He's been obviously in several movies with the MCU universe wider. His part in Endgame and so was phenomenal and actually really quite iconic. Maybe it is time for him to move on. So I am going to put my hat out there right now. I'm going to put my neck on the block, and I'm going to predict Tom Holland is going to leave the Spider-Man franchise very shortly. Miles Morales will probably be the new Spider-Man character, and our new James Bond will be Tom Holland. So, if you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, do all that business. Come and join us on Facebook and Discord. Links for both are in the description. As always, please guys, stay safe, and I will see you next time.